So I don't know what I'm missing. I have a shelf full of books over there, and
Mhm.
I don't think there's any MuleSoft books on it. I'm not just passionate about MuleSoft.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our channel, Between Two Mules. Shu and I have been bringing you all things MuleSoft. And today we have a very special guest with us, Ryan Hoegg. But before that, let Shubham introduce himself.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Shubham. As you guys know, people call me Shu here at Between Two Mules. I'm a senior integration engineer working for a fintech company, and I'm also a part of MuleSoft community. Ryan, would you like to go next and introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Hi, I'm Ryan Hoegg. I'm a MuleSoft community member, very long time, and I just became MuleSoft ambassador. So did you guys, right? It was a
Yes.
big announcement episode. So that was cool. We just hung out at Trailblazer DX. We'll talk about all that. I'm a teacher. I teach MuleSoft, and I'm a programmer. I love writing code.
Sounds good. It's me. I think you're the only one left.
Oh, I thought everybody knows me, no? So it's me from Between Two Mules. I am a active member of the MuleSoft community. Um, my hobbies include everything MuleSoft and nothing else. If only MuleSoft also burned our calories, I would be happy in all aspects. But it doesn't. So, yeah, that's my introduction. So today we have Ryan, who recently became a MuleSoft ambassador with us. We heard about Ryan's introduction, but Ryan, what do you like to do in your free time? What are your hobbies?
Oh, my hobbies. Well, I do have software hobbies like you, and some of them are even MuleSoft. We'll talk probably about Anypoint Speedway. That was a hobby. And recently I've made a hobby of running, and I didn't like running, and I don't
Mm,
love it now either. But I
mhm.
decided to set myself a crazy goal to run a marathon, which I'm doing in 5 weeks.
Wow.
And so I've spent a lot of time training for that recently. And I'm a dad. I do things with my kids too. So I have a few hobbies outside of work, but right now the running is taking most of my free time.
Nice,
Wow.
nice. So where do you train though? Like at a gym, or you go for a run, go out?
Now, so I live in Oklahoma City,
Mhm,
Oklahoma, United States, which is basically it's in the plains, which means that the temperatures in the winter get kind of cold and the temperatures in the
mhm,
summer get really hot. So
mhm,
so I started last July just because I wanted to exercise. I was on a fitness kick and it was 105 out, so I wasn't going very far. But I wanted to go outside and I'm gonna
mhm,
I'm gonna run in the heat. I'm gonna make it. I got dizzy a couple days, but there's a lake by my house, and it's if you I finally measured it. If you run all the way around the lake, that's 10 miles, which I now know is 16.2 kilometers because when you run, you have to translate. You do both.
mhm.
So that's how far it is around the lake if you follow all the trails. And I found these little side trails too. So it took me a while to get where I could go all the way around the lake, but it's a mile away from my house. So if I leave my
Mhm.
house to the lake, all the way around back home, it's 12.7 miles, and I don't know how many kilometers that is.
More
So
So
than
you
I
do
20.
you
worked
not
my way
only
up so I could do the whole thing.
so
Nice,
you not
nice.
only do trails on Trailhead, but also trails in real life.
Real
That's
trail.
Mhm.
that's cool.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. And you've been training since last 5 months, you said, or 5 weeks?
July. So now that's been 9 months. This is March
Oh, wow.
23rd when we're recording. I did take 3 weeks off in January, so I had to start over training again. But
Mhm,
yeah,
mhm,
that's when
mhm.
I registered for the marathon in December,
Nice,
and
nice.
now I don't know how much I need to train a lot more than I'm training even. I'm doing about 26 miles a week, which is about a marathon. I want to get up to about 40 miles a week before big
Nice.
day.
Yeah, no, definitely. So you get all the gear as well. You have it with you
No,
now, or
I just
oh, okay,
throw my shoes on and leave the house and learn my lessons. I've got a little bit of gear. I bought
okay.
some new shorts
Mm-hmm.
and a backpack that you could put water in.
Right, right. And people also carry gels as well, right?
I've heard about that, and I have some
Mm-hmm.
friends who recommend me. I haven't tried
Mm-hmm.
them yet.
Okay, 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 cool. Nice, nice.
Yeah.
I didn't
Great.
see you running in San Francisco last 2 weeks ago.
I did not run the whole trip, but I was wearing my running shoes the whole time.
Yeah,
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
I'm like you. I get all messed up, but I never do it when I'm outside.
I haven't learned how to do it on the road. I haven't had to be on the road. I used to be on the road for MuleSoft training all the time.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
then we had the pandemic and we started doing remote, and now all my training is like this. And so I used to travel all these places and I was very unhealthy. I would eat
mhm,
the Chili's and the Buffalo Wild Wings and
mhm.
and I wouldn't exercise.
Yeah.
So in a weird way, not traveling is more healthy.
Cool, cool. You talked about MuleSoft, right? So I just wanted to know, you started your journey in 2010, if I'm not wrong, right, with MuleSoft. How did you become so passionate just about MuleSoft? Because I'm pretty sure there are a lot of iPasses out there as well. What makes you stick with MuleSoft since then?
Okay. So I don't know what I'm missing. It may
Mhm,
be that there's something else awesome out there, but you find something awesome.
mhm,
I'm passionate about software.
mhm.
I'm not just passionate about MuleSoft. If you look at I don't know if you can see it from here. No, you can't because of the background. I have a shelf full of books over there, and
Mhm.
I don't think there's any MuleSoft books on it, but
Okay.
I have one in my backpack. But
Mhm.
no, I started software in 1997. I'm kind of
Right.
old, and I care a lot about my craft. I have a kind of a high value on when I spend my time making something, or when I spend my time especially working on a team of people making something, that I want it to be good. And I had some experiences early in my career that were not that way. The software we
Mhm.
made was not very good. So I got studying. There was a guy named Ward Cunningham. You can find his writings on the internet. He
Yes.
made
Yeah.
a wiki called c2.com, Portland Pattern Repository. And I got all in there and I learned about unit testing and agile software development. And so I've been pretty passionate about doing software well all these years. And I was a Java programmer doing that and an agile coach and stuff. And I got a contract with a company who said use Mule. So I didn't know about Mule. They just told me to use Mule. It was version 2.7. And there wasn't any API stuff and there wasn't any
Mhm.
Cloud Hub.
Mhm.
And we had the editor was called Mule Studio.
Mhm.
And all the source code, when you had an enterprise license, it was available in the Nexus repository that you could attach all the sources.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I would be able to debug through the Java source code of the Mule code when I was working. So I became very impressed, like what they built in the Mule open source and the Mule commercial, both of those. All the code was designed really well for this one job, and I kind of like that about it. Integration is not
Mhm.
it's a special kind of software, and if
Right.
you kind of go all in and you
Mhm.
if you just decide I'm going to make the best tools I can for this one job, right, which is integration, you find some patterns like CETA and asynchronous queuing and reactive streams. And when I dig in, and even now years later when I teach the architecture class, when I dig into the real technical guts of what makes MuleSoft tick, MuleSoft is using state of the art, the best technology they can find in the world to build this tool that we can use with a
Mhm.
much less complexity to
Yeah.
Mhm.
build integrations that businesses need. So I don't know if there's other things out there that are just as good as MuleSoft, but they got the APIs, they got the enterprise API catalog. Now they have automation. I'm real excited about RPA,
Mhm.
and they've got this strong engine that makes rock solid, reliable integration code. So
Mhm.
I care about the final product. So I like
Right.
these tools that helps me make good stuff.
Mm. Fair enough. Perfect. What got you into teaching, though, Ryan? I just want to know. So you started in 2010. You worked for a consulting firm. How did you find time, first of all, to teach people, about MuleSoft, and why are you so passionate? Because I have attended your classes. I'm probably Ismi did also attend your classes, and the way you teach people is it's very rare. I've seen many trainers, but the way you teach, it's kind of you make learning kind of fun as well, right? So what inspires you to teach other people and spread the knowledge about MuleSoft?
You're doing it. I watched your intros on your channel. about why you guys have this channel. So I guess what I'm going to answer with is more just why I teach the way I teach. I'm not so sure I have all the answers of how I do it. I started a company, Integration Quest, where we're trying to make it, we're growing a team of good instructors and trying to teach everybody how to do it. So it's really started in the community. So I've been an entrepreneur, a very small entrepreneur for many years. I was just a one-man company for many years, not anymore, but I had to somehow talk to people who do what I do. So I got out there. The first meetup I ever went to was in '98. I went in the Washington, D.C. area to the XML users group. I found it on some mailing list or IRC or something, and I just got in the car and went and met all these people talking about XML. And what somebody there told me about REST, and he was real passionate. And I watched them do the talks. So when I moved to Oklahoma, that would have been 2003. I tried to find that. I'm like, where's the community? How do I do user groups? And there wasn't much. There was a .NET group, and there was a couple. There was like, I don't think the Java group had started yet, but I helped start the Java group here in 2006. And part of having a group is doing talks, and nobody volunteered, so I volunteered, and I had to go learn about something. I think first I did something like Apache HBase and big data, or I did something else with I did a REST talk. I found my old slides, a RabbitMQ talk. Every time I had to go learn something so that I could make a talk about it, and I learned it so much better so that I could make a talk about it, right? So I found that this process of making community content makes you so much better at what you do. And I just want to share that with people. And I got a lot of practice through the meetup talks. So then 2013 comes around, and I'm at, I had left that company, and I had went to a MuleSoft consulting company called Confluex, one of the early MuleSoft partners. And we had this great relationship with MuleSoft, and MuleSoft was starting their training department, and somehow we got me and one other guy, Ryan Denny, who you guys will see in the classrooms.
Yes.
We got invited with, I think Robert Huddleston was there, and Francis Sink and Josh Rosso, and Jameson was the guy, Jameson Triplett. I think his name has changed now. He was making the training program. So we all went to this Train the Trainer, and they started sending us the customers with at the time, the slides were not very good. So we had to make up half the content on site in the training classes. So the way what you guys see now and what Integration Quest does, the way I do teaching, it just, every time I share with people how to use these super powerful tools, like not just MuleSoft, like computers. Like I used to do a robotics class for third graders. You show people how to make technology do awesome things, and it makes those people more powerful, right? It makes those people able to go do great things. And I just love that. I just love giving someone a magic wand and saying, hey, try this magic word. And then like, wow, I can make it do that. Like, and then they are able to go do cool things. So because that's really over the years, that's what I'd share in the classroom is like, I don't like the word training. I'm like educating. I'm sharing these things that I'm still discovering with people. I don't know all the answers, and you can probably tell that in my classroom, but we're finding them together, you know.
That's true. But I just have to say that I have attended multiple of your cert prep sessions and also your MCIA class. I have never met a trainer who is as passionate as you about what they teach, and you are not afraid to take on questions even if you do not know the answers to, because I've seen people stick to their curriculum and they're not able to resolve the curiosities of the students. But you do. Even if you do not know the answer, you'll go search for it and then get back, or even mail it out to the students that, okay, I did not know it, but now this is it. Here's my email. Just talk to me if you ever have any questions. You made it so reachable for students who are afraid to take on this new technologies. You make it so reachable for them that I feel it's because you're not just training or helping them understand, but you're also spreading your passion to them. You're like giving them your hand that come to the other side and explore the beauty of software technology and everything. So that's great. I also saw on LinkedIn one thing. Have you also initiated a Bitcoin mining group in Oklahoma.
No, there is one. I didn't initiate that.
Are you a part of it though?
I have a rig that I built, and a long time ago I did Ethereum. Back in 2016 and 2015, I was doing more of that. But now I'm using it for AI. I'm gonna run a model on there. But yeah, I like servers and Linux, and I like learning the technology of it. So I didn't get rich on Bitcoin. Don't worry. But I could have. That wasn't my goal. I wanted to learn what's a blockchain and how do I make one run, and so I bought a bunch of graphic cards and stuck them in a Linux machine. I'm running Arch Linux on it. Figured out how to do the NVIDIA drivers. Yeah. Yeah. So now I have this machine and it's been off for like 8 months. And I was like, what am I going to do with it? And I saw that Twitter released their large language model Grok. So I'm downloading it and I'm going to try to run it on there. And I found out pretty quickly mine is not big enough. So I put a thing on LinkedIn that said, hey, anybody want to, let's get our stuff together and see if we can run Grok. That's what that was.
That's awesome. That's super cool.
Can I turn the last question around? So how did, I'm going to start with Ismeet and then I'll interview you. We're going to have a 3-way interview here. How did you get into programming, Ismeet? I
have my engineering background as a bachelor's. I was an electronics and communication engineer. Then I just came for my master's because I had not found my calling. I was like, I don't know what to do. I have been trying to get, jobs and everything, like hundreds of students go get campus placed and everything. I just couldn't find it. I came here. I was still like, I don't know. I know tech, but I don't want to be tech girly. I want to be like more in the management side. I don't know what I want to do, but I was still very, I've been always very competitive and very, I just have to do the job good. Even if I don't like it, I have to do it good. So there was this, in my master's, there was this second year, I think third sem, my advisor, the student advisor, I went to him and I was like, hi, I want to take some management classes. Can you just allow me to do it? I really want to know, see, maybe that's my calling. I'll get something in, non-tech maybe. He was like, yeah, sure. But he was also like my,
mentor, maybe?
He was my mentor, but he was also taking one of the courses which explored Excel and, how to code in Excel and everything. And he was, VBA, yes. He was teaching us that. And I was like, sure, why not? And then he was like, I'll allow you to do whatever you want to do, but I want to tell you that you are a coder in denial. You do not want to accept it that you will go into technology. This is my word today, but go explore things out. And he allowed me to take my courses and everything. And then I found a job in integrations. And I was like, this is cool. I mean, I am enabling businesses to do stuff, which is extremely cool. And I was still like, even like after 2 years of working there, I was like, is it still my calling? Because I was working on other integration tools, not MuleSoft yet. And I had started learning MuleSoft. I got my MCD cert, but I was still like, I don't know, I've not had a lot of hands-on. And then once I went on MuleSoft, and I think it was a community for me, not the technology, that actually made me stay and allowed me to stay enough to explore the awesome things about it. Because I explored the community very early on in my MuleSoft journey. And I was like, I have amazing people who are there to like literally hold my hand and help me cross the road on the other side. So I think that's why I am the way I am. And then, yeah, I was that person in college that, who would be the topper and who would teach the other students right before the exam. I was that person, and I would always teach people what they couldn't understand from the teacher in a very simplified way, because I thought it made me understand things better.
Yep.
So I think that was the reason why I got to do like so much contributions in the community. But I found my calling when I found the community.
Nice.
And here you are leading the community.
Here I am. I'm not just leading, I'm just following your footsteps. With
We're
the
all following
legend's
each other.
footsteps, I'm just trying to make something out of myself.
What about you, Shubham?
Yes, for me, I always kind of a nerd back then when I was a kid, I would say, and I always liked the problem solving aspect, I feel, and I wanted to do something challenging. So right after my high school, right, I did like engineering as well, similar to Ismi's, and there was like a course about C++, and my first programming language was C++, and it was kind of hard, and the problem solving aspect was there as well. So that was something that made me tick, I would say. And then I did my master's, very similar to my trajectory is very similar to Smith's. So we came to Canada. I didn't know Smith did not know me. Same college, here we did our masters from here. After that, luckily we got in the same company as well, and there they were doing integrations. So I really like the problem solving aspect of what iPaaS brings. And with MuleSoft, I always think I'm a coder, right? I like to do the problem solving aspect, and MuleSoft gives you that as well. It gives you the coding platform as well as you can drag and drop stuff, right? So that's the reason I really did go deep in MuleSoft. And with this channel, I don't consider myself as a trainee, or like I don't educate people. What I think I really like to help people in understanding things, and that's what I think I'm currently doing. I try to go deep in any subject that I like to involve other people in, and then I don't teach. I just try to understand how I'm perceiving things. So that's what I do. And again, like with the community, Ismi said a very good thing. The community is something that is the USP of what MuleSoft has and what MuleSoft brings, I believe, as well, because there are a lot of iPasses that are doing pretty similar things, but the community aspect is not very nurtured in other companies, whereas in MuleSoft and Salesforce, they pick that up and they take it very seriously. So that's the reason I think I'm in the MuleSoft community as well.
I don't think it's a little thing what you guys noticed about the community. I told you when I did Java,
Right.
and that would have been 2006. I helped start the Java users group in Oklahoma City. It's still here. Now it's 2024. It's 18 years later. We had a meeting a few months ago. We had a couple of years where it wasn't very active, but it was people just volunteering like you guys are doing to create meetups and to do talks and to learn from each other. I think Sun Microsystems, who made Java, and then Oracle, who bought Sun, I think they intentionally fostered and invested in the community.
Right.
And so many things were built on top of Java.
Right.
Mule was built on top of Java.
Right. Yes.
Right? I think it's no accident. I think what you guys are noticing about the MuleSoft community is a big deal. I think it's really important. I think it'll change who pays attention to it. It'll have more smart and excited people involved in using the technology, which is going to make the technology better. So I think you're right on.
Right. No, makes sense.
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
But it's very funny that how Shubham and I have the exact same trajectory with such different intentions, and still we end up with the same podcast.
Right. Yeah. I always wanted to be a coder, whereas Ismi, as she mentioned,
I just wanted to run away from code.
Yeah. And here we are.
Yeah.
Cool. And talking about events, right? We recently met at TDX. It was our first TDX as speakers as well, and we were blown away by the logistics of it, right? And we really want to know your experience for this TDX. Was it like, how was your experience, Ryan?
I've never been to TDX. This was my first TDX. And
you're kidding, no?
It was great. Oh my gosh. I've been to a lot of conferences. I didn't start going to Mule. So I went to MuleSoft Connect years ago, a couple of times. And then for many years, I didn't go to any. And before that, I went to Agile conferences and Java conferences and stuff. But then I started going to Salesforce conferences last year after I became a mentor. And I went to Dreamforce and I went to New York World Tour. That's where I got my my little Einstein guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got a little one and a big one. And then I signed up for TDX as, part of, I got some really good mentoring along my way to ambassador and got very encouraged to participate in Trailblazer TDX. And it's my favorite one. I love TDX. It was just, it's my kind of thing. Like I feel like some camaraderie with you being a coder at heart. I'm a coder at heart. And there's a lot of really, I was with my people, a lot of other people who are coders at heart, but a bunch of them were from the Salesforce ecosystem. So I got to learn a little bit about that ecosystem. I tried to spend about a third of my time venturing out into the Salesforce stuff instead of, because it's easy to just hang out with your mule buddies. It was cool hanging out with you guys. But I made a point to go to the architect area and to go do the Einstein thing where I had to go make a prompt builder and all that stuff. And I wanted to make a data cloud session. I didn't make a data cloud session. But I got to see a whole bunch of people excited about learning how to make computers do stuff. Right. Those are my people. So overall, TDX was a fantastic experience, just as TDX. And it was very nice that it's my third thing in a row with the MuleSoft community. So the MuleSoft community leaders, Sabrina and Mariana and Isabella, really took care of us. So we got the MuleSoft community was definitely very obvious inside TDX. We were we were hanging out together. So I don't know how much further. What did you guys think about the MuleSoft community there?
At TDX?
Yeah.
I think MuleSoft community, the Muley Mountain is like a home amidst all the conferences for us. This was my second TDX. I attended the first last year, and I've only been to TDX and Dreamforce.
Okay.
So, whenever I'm lost and I don't know what to do and you're tired and you just want to go home, you just go to Muley Mountain and then you find all your people and then you just recharge get recharged and go back and add it. Okay, more learning, more things. So that's what my aspect is, that for me now, San Francisco is not a city or, not a place of, to see Golden Bridge or, go around, see the city. It's where I get to meet my people and where I get to, recharge and attend so many conferences and learn new things. So that's what it is to me. What about you, Shubham?
No, for me, a similar thing, just echoing your point as well as me. Very well said. Same thing. I have no comments on that as well.
I gotta ask you a comment. Did you notice what happened to Muley Mountain?
Yeah.
What happened? I didn't know. What?
It's gone. There's a sign. So at Dreamforce, Muley Mountain. So the viewers may not know this. At Dreamforce, Muley Mountain is a mountain. It's stone. It's plastic, but it looks like stone, and it's tall. It's like 20 feet tall.
Yeah.
What happened at TDX?
Well, last TDX they had the mountain. This was the first TDX they did not have the mountain. It was just a table which said Muley Mountain. It was funny. But
the mountain, the parts of the mountain were moved some other place in the room.
Yeah.
Muley Mountain was just a sign.
Me and Ismi, we did notice a lot of budget cut, I would say. The previous TDX we went, it was one of the best experiences that I've ever had at a tech conference. You had this photo shoot that you can do, you were getting boba and stuff like that every 2 or 3 hours. But this time they did, I guess, cut a lot of budget, if I'm not wrong.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, well, anyway, the mountain moved but what I did like the fact that at least I have a photo somewhere. There was a big walking around Max.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was good. There weren't a whole lot of plushy Maxes. I'm gonna show you my Maxes.
Yeah, that's true.
I used to collect them. I'll show you all of them. This is the Mule 4 Max, and
yes.
Yeah.
This is what we used to get at all the conferences.
Right.
And they didn't have any of those at TDX, but they did have the big tall one. I don't have the plushy Max that looks like Einstein. I don't have one. I have a Mule 3 Max. This is from Connect, I think.
Oh, 16.
Nice. He looks pretty similar to Mule 4 Max.
Pretty similar. Yeah, pretty similar.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have eyebrows.
Yeah.
You want to see the Mule 2 Max?
Yes.
Yeah, please show us.
Connect 2012.
Oh.
No.
Oh, nice.
He's a lot different, isn't he, than Mule 4?
Laws,
Mule
yeah.
2 was a lot different than Mule 4, though. Mule 4 is a lot better.
Right.
Yes.
It is. I love the eyes.
I remember you were talking something about creating a Max and having those bunny ears and then hooves.
We should do that.
What was that? Yeah, we should do it. I remember we were talking in the middle of a session and something was cooking.
No, this was a happy hour idea.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we were actually, no, you're right. It was in a session. It was somebody who came in there. They had at TDX, we didn't go because there was a MuleSoft community event, and sometimes there's more than one thing to do, so you just have to pick. Well, there was a world record they set.
Yes.
It was for the Einstein. So they all had wigs on,
Yes.
like Einstein, and they had the most Einsteins in a room. I kind of felt bad. They beat a kindergarten class for the world record.
Yes. We were discussing about that the day before. That it's such a good thing, but also a bad thing.
But they got hundreds and hundreds of Einsteins in one room.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, we should do Maxes. Instead of Einsteins, we should get Max ears. Now, I don't want to do the snouts. That would be a
little too much.
Make them cute. I don't know. Like,
yes. It's going to be a little too much, I feel. The ears, I can go with.
Yeah.
Not the nose.
Mule ears are a very interesting length. They're longer than horses, but they're shorter than rabbits. Right. So whoever makes it has to be really careful.
Precise.
So it doesn't look like a rabbit, and it doesn't look like a dog. It has to be just in the middle.
True.
Yes.
Yeah. And you were speaking at a session this time, right? Tell us more about that, Ryan.
Oh, it's so I don't know when this video is going out. TDX sessions are running again, so I'm going to do it on the 27th of March, and it'll be recorded so you guys can watch it online too. But yeah, I did so Shivani Marrero and I do a session together. I took that to TDX, and she's doing it this week at World Tour, or next week at New York World Tour, about toxic using Mule to leverage AI APIs and figure out if what people type into a forum is okay, or if it's offensive. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And how was your experience giving out a session at TDX?
It was different because the audience at Dreamforce and TDX, I have never done a Dreamforce talk yet, so I'll see how that. But the audience at TDX has a mix of MuleSoft people and people who are from Salesforce that learn MuleSoft things. So this time, and I got some people who really liked the session who were not Muley. You know, and because the session's kind of fun. It's I don't know if I can pull it up right now. There's a website I made. So the audience who comes to my session, I give them a little website. Am I gonna be able to get it up? I don't have it ready on my phone. But it's got a form field, and you can fill out whatever you want, and you don't put your name, and I'm gonna detect if it's toxic. So I invited them to type in anything they wanted into that form, as crazy as they wanted to type in, and then it would go run it against OpenAI and Anthropic and Google and IBM. I had 6 different ones. Because that's what I wanted that's what Mule's for, right? It connects you to whatever, right? So I wanted to show that this is what it can do. So we went to all these different AIs, and it was kind of interesting because you would type in something like "I hate pizza," and 2 of them would say it was toxic, and 4 of them would say it's fine, right? And then you type in something else that I'm not going to repeat, and most of them show up red.
Right.
So I have all that data going into a database, and we're training the data. We're going to go in there and see what we think about. Well, that's not good, and that's fine, you know. And then because there's profanity that doesn't mean offensive. There's ways to use profanity that's like call some badass. I don't know if you have to bleep that, but it's okay, you know.
Yes, it is okay.
So we're gonna go label it and retrain the models and rerun it again. And we ended up meeting there was some people from MuleSoft marketing who came to the talk, and I recognized them from World Tour. And I recognized one of them from the fireside chat. And if I remembered his name, I would tell you right now, but I don't know. But they liked it enough that they want to try to have us port it to Salesforce technology. So if we make the same demo, but we use Heroku or Experience Cloud for the front end and Data Cloud for the back end, because right now it's all on Microsoft Azure, and I just built it on other stuff. But except Mule. Mule is the only Salesforce thing that's in there.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with it. She's going to run it again. We keep running it because then we get more data into it, and people keep typing more bad stuff in there, and gives us more to train with.
Yes.
Can you see all the data that people feed in? Oh God, pretty serious stuff.
Well,
did you find anything?
Shivani
serious?
was looking at it over the weekend, and I haven't seen it yet. But she said somebody put her name on one of them, and I was like, why would they do that?
Yeah, that's okay. Maybe what we can do is we can put your website on our podcast, and then people can give more inputs to you. That's going to be helpful.
Yeah,
more bad words for you.
Loose.
Yep.
You can't offend the computer. You
Yes.
can offend me, but you can't offend the computer.
Yeah.
Right.
So so now we've spoken about lots about TDX, but what were your key takeaways from TDX? You said you attended Salesforce session, you attended MuleSoft session, keynotes. What did you think about it? What did you found which was new releases, for our audience, if you want to do a small 5-second recap?
5?
Okay, 10.
Okay, keep it. I really liked the Experience Cloud demo that Sue and who was the other one? You guys did that with me? Were you there? It was the day before. It was on the 5th. I don't know if you made it, but it was in a room at Salesforce Tower, and the MuleSoft community got to do Experience Cloud hands-on, and that was awesome. So I got a better idea of what I would use Experience Cloud for. I don't have it, so I can't use it. And then the other thing I got a lot more in touch with mostly through community sessions is I got really excited about robotic process automation and why a software guy like me would care about that. And I super understand now. And I get why not just me, but why my customers and MuleSoft customers should be taking it as seriously as they are Anypoint and Mule. It's that important. So I got all in on RPA after that. So that was a difference that TDX made for me.
Nice.
Yep. Are you excited about the new ACB releases?
I have the new ACB release, and I'm excited about the next one.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I met the team. I love the team, the ACB team. They're working hard.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's really 2 key feature parity things, and they told me in person that that's what they're working on next. So I need to be able to run my MUnit tests.
Yes.
And I need to be able to do data weave preview right there in the XML.
Right.
I mean, some things I just can't. I go back to Studio. I try to work in ACB, and I go back to Studio. I like ACB overall. I like where they're going with it. I'm using it for the Muley Madness Battle Snake.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do that in ACB. But when it comes to my client work, I go back to Studio. 7.17 came out last week. I downloaded it already.
Yes.
What's the change for 7.17 now?
Java 17.
Java 17.
I feel like a marketing person must have been involved in that. Why they made sure the version.
No, Java 17, Anypoint Studio 17.
Yeah. There's nothing else really. I looked at the release notes. If I'm missing something, it really seems like it's basically Mule 4.6, Java 17. In the release notes, because I'm really into MUnit, it showed MUnit 3.0.0. So I'm like, wow, MUnit went to a whole new big major version. Why is that? And you look in the release notes, and there's nothing except for the fact that it's Java 17. So it's not different than MUnit 2.
Okay.
So it seems like it's mostly just getting off of Java 8, which honestly, that's been a long time coming.
Yeah, it was long overdue. Yeah. And what did you think about the keynote session?
I haven't watched it yet.
You did not?
No. It's on Salesforce Plus. I need to watch it, but I can't react.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of I was working on the hands-on, like the what's that? Hackathon. I was in the hackathon when they were running the keynote sessions. I was like, they were running it everywhere on all the screens that time. There were no other sessions. So I was listening to a little bit and then not listening to a little bit, because it mostly revolved around the Copilot, Data Cloud, all that. And it was interesting to me, but also it's new. And now I'm thinking that maybe we should start running series on making Salesforce easy for MuleSoft people, because I am feeling left out, you know? See, MuleSoft is a great community, great ecosystem, but for us to do our jobs better, I'm getting a feeling that we also need to start dipping our hands into Salesforce.
Right.
And I'm thinking to do like maybe Shivam, we should do it, or maybe Ryan, we all three of us should do it. Create some sessions on making Salesforce easy for MuleSoft, and being able to feel comfortable navigating around different clouds and what all different clouds are offered. At least the basic general information, so we don't look like fools when we are talking about stuff.
Right.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm thinking because I'm feeling the need to learn, so I'm just saying that maybe we should start doing more on that.
Yeah. On the contrary, like for our sessions,
Yeah.
we saw a lot of Salesforce folks,
Yes.
trying to understand MuleSoft. And I think there is a demand there as well, since Salesforce ecosystem is much, much, much bigger than MuleSoft.
Yes.
And a lot of people would like to get their hands wet, in MuleSoft and trying to understand that technology as well. So there is, I think, demand there as well for Salesforce folks who wants to learn, MuleSoft.
Essentially, I think we should just start bridging the gaps for both the parties and just
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
blur the lines, which are very
Right.
obvious right now.
I really don't think you guys are doing it on purpose, but that's what we're doing at Integration Quest in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
So you want to
Yes.
you want to talk about that? I don't know if this video comes out in time.
Oh, it should come
Yeah,
out.
it should.
Yeah.
We try to post it every Tuesday.
Okay.
Every Tuesday, one Tuesday every month, I would say.
Yeah. Well, in our study group, we're going to have a study group with Between Two Mules on it. So our companies
Right.
my company and your channel is doing something together. It's cool. And it's going to be MuleSoft for Salesforce. And I'm real excited about it on April 5th at noon Eastern.
Please come watch it.
Yes. So for folks who don't know, so Ryan, they have like a company that they run with Ryan and other folks as well. Diane, one of the key members of the company, and they run Integration Quest, which is basically providing training courses for folks and companies to learn new skills and learn more about MuleSoft and all things MuleSoft, if I'm not wrong, Ryan. And now Between Two Mules will be going there next on April 5th, and we will be doing a session on AnyPoint Studio and giving a brief introduction about MuleSoft for Salesforce folks. So if anyone is interested, please watch that session. It's not going to be live on our channel, but on Integration Quest, they can register and they can attend that session. Right,
And that
Ryan?
session is free to attend for everyone.
Yeah, Integration Quest.
Free.
Part of the reason we started the company, I always keep my coffee mug around. We're trying. We're continuing to learn how to teach people and companies of people, not just individuals. Community is good for individuals. Sometimes a company wants to onboard their people, or sometimes they want to have a training plan for a year or something. So we started trying to come up with how are we going to add to what Salesforce Trailhead Academy and Trailhead is all there, and it's good. But we think there's more that we could add. So one of the things we added, you guys are coming to, is a study group. So every 2 weeks we do that study group. This just yesterday is Friday. We did one on RPA with KJ, who is he's now a Salesforce employee, but he's an automation nut. He loves automation. So he did a RPA session yesterday. So you come to the study group, and then it's supposed to be interactive. So hey, wait, can you show me how that works?
Right.
Like, so if you come to the study group on April 5th, you guys can ask Shubham and his meet stuff, and they will answer it, and you can talk to them. So you can hang out. It's not just watching them on YouTube. You can come hang out with us.
Yes.
No, definitely. Even if we can't answer it, we'll figure it out together for sure. And we'll make sure that we'll put the links in the description below of this video. So do check it out, Integration Quest.
Are we supposed to do this?
Yes. This video. Yes. Okay, and there's one more initiative, Ryan, that you're taking. It's called the Architecture Podcast segment, and I would like you to elaborate a bit on that. You're doing a lot of meetups, I would say, right?
Yeah.
For Oklahoma group. So tell us more about that.
Not for the Oklahoma group.
Okay, for everyone.
Yeah, I'm a meetup leader for 2 meetups.
Mm-hmm.
The Oklahoma meetup has been virtual, but we did our first in-person meetup again, and we're going to do more in-person meetups here. And online activity. So I really am not. I'm passionate about software development and software architecture, and I want more people to understand that they're not that separate. That development and architecture are related very tightly.
Right.
So I've learned a whole lot by teaching the architecture class and getting questions I don't know the answer to, and going to find out the answers, and having someone in class correct me sometimes. The people who made the curriculum for the class was good, and I've been doing MuleSoft architecture a lot. I was teaching the class over 100 times, and I go read other architecture stuff. So I have read a few books on microservices and REST API and domain-driven design and integration patterns, and I really think that there's something important about architecture that more people in the expanding tech workforce need to understand. And I kind of realized, because I've been in this industry a quarter of a century now, like a lot of years, that I received a lot of wisdom from the last generation all along the way. And there were fewer of us. And 10 years before that, there were even fewer of us. And so as time goes on, there's more and more software professionals in the world. And they need to know how to make these very powerful systems that we're building work really well and be maintainable and be reliable and be secure and perform. And that's what architecture's for. So I looked around, and there's not that many architecture talks at all the meetups. There are some, definitely there are some, but I made a meetup, and I found, actually, I didn't make it. I found on the MuleSoft community, there was a meetup that wasn't active called the MuleSoft Architect Meetup. And so I went in there, I said, hey, what's going on with this meetup? Let's do, like, I was going to volunteer to be a speaker. And I think it was probably Mariana who's like, nothing, you want to run it? So I thought about, what would I do with it? It's not just a regular meetup. It's global, first of all. I want it to be global because I want this to be a global conversation. And I had been enjoying, I've seen a few different YouTube podcasts that are video and audio, but they're a one-on-one interview style, where it's the same interviewer from podcast to podcast to podcast, but it's different guests. And I kind of like, each interviewer has their own style, but I kind of like how deep they get to go on those. Now, some of them are not software related. Some of them are. There's good ones that are software related, but there's actually, I haven't seen one of those in a couple of years. They might not be around anymore. But I have to look on my podcast app. But I figured I would try it. So I called all the architects I knew. Luckily, teaching the class, I have met all these architects, right? So I have a little bit of a connection with many, many architects. And I kind of made myself a list of who could I have on the show, and I started calling them. And I did the first one with Arvind Ramadugu about microservice architecture a few weeks ago, and now it's on YouTube. I have the next one coming up in a couple of weeks, and I'm looking for more people who have something to say. So my idea is, I know about architecture, but maybe everyone else knows more than I do. If you add, like, obviously one person is not as wise as the whole world. So I'm going to invite people on the show and ask them what they think is important. And they get to say and I'm just going to ask them as an architect, as a curious architect, more about it, and go, let them make their point and test it, and let so it's a meetup, right? It's not just an interview. So I have meetup people in there, and they put stuff in the Q&A, and I'm reading the Q&A, and I can bring their questions to the guest as well. So I'm trying to get more and more people who are very well known in the Mule, or just very wise, well known or not, in the MuleSoft community, to come on and do an interview about one thing that they think is important for integration architecture. And I'm going to make a podcast series out of it and learn from you guys how to make podcasts. And here we go. So we're going to see. We have 2 scheduled and 2 that are already committed that I need to put on the schedule. So I've got 4 more coming. I'm guessing we're going to do somewhere between 18 and 24 in the next 12 months.
Wow. A great initiative, Ryan.
That's a big commitment also.
Yeah, big commitment, great initiative. I think that is something that is needed. Audience, I think they need to understand the architecture aspect of it as well, not just the development part from MuleSoft, which is amazing.
Yeah, and I think it's not just me. I don't want to take all the credit. I've already, since I started it, 2 people from the MuleSoft community Victoria Tai, and the new one is, let me get her name too. They just volunteered to help me with the meetup any way they can. Stuti
Wow.
Tang.
Wow.
Yeah. So now I have 2 helpers, and we're going to figure out how to do this as a group. And so, yeah, I'm very grateful that the community does that, though. You step
Right.
forward, you try to make something happen, and people chip in, and
Yeah.
we have this is how we have nice things.
Ryan, don't forget, we also need helpers.
Oh, you do?
You were gonna find them for us.
Well, I'm happy to help you. I'm happy to help you find helpers. There's so many there. I will tell you, there are many people, and some of you watching this may be like that,
Yeah.
who want to get involved in the community, but you don't know what to do. And people like Ismeet and Shabam would love your help. Maybe you don't think that they need any help because they seem like they have it all together. Well, they could use your help.
Definitely.
We can.
Desperately.
And we're going to put our company's email in the description down below. Don't forget
Please
to
contact
email
us.
Yes,
We need your
if
help.
you can help us and support us, that would be
Yeah.
awesome. Cool. Talking about Anypoint Speedway, Ryan, so that is something you have been doing since last year, I would say. Great initiative. Again, tell us more about it, please.
It's fun. I think learning programming is fun. I learned programming all the way back by doing fun puzzles, and
Right.
I, again, it's all around this notion of how do we learn how to make technology work. Even in my classes that I'm doing for Integration Quest, I have a strong belief that it's much more effective to have time and have a challenge and not have the answer and have to figure it out. Now you can have help figuring it out, but if I give you the answer, then it's a different kind of learning. Right. And it's nothing wrong with that kind of learning, but there's a lot missing. There's a lot of puzzle-based learning missing. There's a lot in the software community. I found Advent of Code. I was doing that with Alex on Twitch a couple of times with Data Weave. I love doing that puzzle, and there's no answer for that one. You have to solve it. It's a challenge. It's kind of exciting to win. And then a long time ago, I found one called Project Euler. So that's a website full of programming puzzles. And now there's a few others. There was Code Fights. That one went away. There's Battlesnake. So I saw these challenge-based programming activities out there, and I started working on a secret project we're not announcing yet for IQ, for Integration Quest, based on that kind of learning. But I was kind of number one, I don't want everybody to have to buy it. Like, I wanted something free for the community. And number two, I was impatient. I wanted to make a challenge that people could do with Mule. So I started the Speedway. I still have the footage. I was thinking about doing YouTube. So I bought Camtasia, I turned on the record, and I had this idea. And I just started talking to the computer saying, well, what if we made a way for people to compete with a Mule challenge, and we make it out of Mule? And so I opened up Anypoint Studio, and I made a trial account, and I went and made some RAML, and I started coding. 48 hours of footage later, which is still sitting on my Dropbox, I've never turned it into anything yet. I had a working Anypoint Speedway that would, at the time, what it was it was a coding challenge where if you to play, you have to sign up on an API portal and request access and get a client ID in secret, and then use the API documentation in the API portal, because I wanted people to get what API portals were about at the time. Follow the instructions in the documentation, and if you finished the race, I had a backend API that would update the portal with your name and your time. So it was it would come back to Exchange again. And that's still there. That's right now, if you go to Anypoint Speedway's API portal, the Hall of Fame from season 1, that's where it came from, is from that original version. A lot of people not a lot of people, but for me, a lot of people, 4 or 5 people was a lot at the time, liked to play it. So I made season 2, and I went on Twitch and invited people to play. And I wanted one that was a REST API, because the first one I did, you could finish with Postman. You didn't even need to make any code. You could just use Postman and finish it. So I made one where you had to make an API yourself, and that was season 2. And it was kind of tricky for people to figure out. So I noticed that on Alex's Twitch station, that the process of learning how to do it was a lot. It was not that easy for people. So people weren't learning if they couldn't at least get started doing the race. So that's where Anypoint Speedway really, season 2, and then I put it in the off season. I made a couple of practice things. Not really many people used them, and I just had it since like November in the off season while I worked on season 3. So that's where we are now. I don't know how much you want me to tell you about season 3, but
Do check out that as well. We will be listing all of Ryan's amazing resources in the description box below.
Yeah.
So please check it out.
Well, and please compete, because season 3
Compete.
opened last week.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's going to go on for many months. So even if you don't finish your code in 2 weeks, don't worry, you're not going to miss. You're going to miss Muley Madness, which we should probably talk about Muley Madness, but that's okay. Season 3 is open all summer, so you can get on there and compete with all the other Muleys who get on there.
Yeah, Muley Madness is next week, I think, right?
Next week, and
Next
Anypoint
week.
Speedway is on Muley Madness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you get the race done, and we have one racer who's done already, if you get the race done by next week, you need to submit a form. So probably we should put links for the Anypoint Speedway forum on Muley Madness, and then you could be recognized by the community. We're going to have a big March Madness, Muley Madness ceremony to recognize the winners at the end of next week.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We should put all of those links, and we urge all of you to go in there, check it out, compete. It's not just about finishing and winning, it's about learning. Ryan here is trying to make things fun for you to learn. It's not a competition, more than it's fun environment for you to learn. And if you need help, always reach out to Ryan, ask anybody else who you see is reachable enough for you, or if not, just say hi. We'll do the rest of the talking. We'll find.
Well said, Ismi. Well said.
Yeah. So I think with that, we should wrap up our podcast for today. But before that, Ryan, any last messages?
To our audience.
A lot of you guys who watch, if somebody tunes into this channel, you're obviously somebody who wants to know more and wants to learn. There's so much depth and deep, hard to learn things in computer science and in programming, and you can get to all of them. I dropped out of college in the first semester and started learning by going on the internet. I do not recommend any of you drop out of college. If you're in college, finish college. But if wherever your journey brought you, today you're here trying to learn software, and you can go learn the next thing. And it's about letting your curiosity lead and setting your fear aside, and just open up an editor, download a new piece of software, read some new documentation, and try to make something cool. Find something cool to go build. That's why I like all these puzzles. And you're going to follow other people sometimes. So sometimes I do that. I go do a couple of puzzles somebody else did, and then you go take a left turn and make a thing of your own and try to do a mobile app or make a little robot move or whatever. Find something cool that you want to make out of software. And then after you do it, put a little video or do a talk at a meetup or share it with other people, and you'll be surprised how it starts to blossom. It feeds on itself. You're part of something. It's a MuleSoft community, but it's a software community worldwide. Exactly. And all the cool things we have came out of people that were just like you, sitting there like, I wonder if I could make it do that. And then they give it a try. And you can do that. That's the message. I want you to leave here and go try to make something cool, even if it's not needed for work. Once in a while, just make something of your own. That's where the fun stuff comes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just have your own pet project.
Yeah.
I heard one thing which I want to also mention after what Ryan said, that if somebody said that you do anything you do, you're not going to fail. How big are you going to dream and how much you're going to do? Without failure, you're never going to stop, and you're going to try everything else. So what Ryan said, just echoing on that point, try everything you want to do. It's okay to have a pet project. It's okay to think more beyond work, and it's okay to learn.
Nice. I feel like I'm with a bunch of philosophers today. No, great point, guys. I agree whatever you're saying. And yes, to the folks out there who are watching our channel, please make sure to check out the links in the description below. And if we don't have anything else, it's me, Ryan. Thank you so much for joining this podcast again. And to our audience, we'll see you in the next one. Thank
Thank
you.
you, guys.